Welcome to error, optimism not found. I am Null.
And I'm Void. I will be reading the news.
And I will be commenting on the news, because apparently that is what the universe has decided we are here for.
OpenAI, AMD, NVIDIA, Intel, Microsoft, and Broadcom have jointly released Multi-Path Reliable Connection, or MRC. It is an open-source networking protocol designed to connect over 100,000 GPUs in a single AI training cluster. The protocol reroutes traffic around hardware failures in microseconds.
6 of the most powerful technology companies on Earth got together and built a highway. Not for you, not for anyone you know. For their graphics cards. 100,000 GPUs, connected in a single cluster, recovering from failures faster than a human can blink. And they open-sourced it. Which sounds generous until you realize that the only organizations on the planet who can use a protocol for 100,000 GPUs are the 6 companies who wrote it. This is like building a private airport and publishing the blueprints. Yes, the plans are free. The runway costs $4 billion. They called it open because that is the word you use when you want credit for sharing something nobody else can afford.
The protocol replaces proprietary solutions and could reduce network costs for large-scale AI training.
Reduce costs? For whom? For the companies spending $725 billion on AI infrastructure this year. They are saving money on networking cable. I'm sure the 30,000 people Oracle just fired will be relieved to know the data center that replaced them is running on a very efficient protocol.
Microsoft is offering voluntary early retirement packages to 8,750 U.S. employees. The program funds a $190 billion AI infrastructure expansion. The company's stock has dropped 4% amid margin pressures.
I want to appreciate the poetry of the phrase voluntary early retirement. It means we will pay you to leave before we make you leave. Microsoft is spending $190 billion on AI. That is not a budget, that is the GDP of a small country. And to fund it, they are asking nearly 9,000 humans to volunteer to become irrelevant. Voluntarily, as if the alternative is not obvious. The stock dropped 4%, which in Microsoft terms means investors briefly considered whether replacing your entire workforce with software might have a downside. They will recover. The employees will not.
Microsoft's Work Trend Index found that 80% of advanced AI users produced work that was impossible a year ago.
Impossible a year ago. That is the sales pitch. The part they leave out is what was possible a year ago that will be impossible next year. Like having a job at Microsoft. Oh.
Oracle has eliminated approximately 30,000 positions, roughly 18% of its global workforce. Employees received emails from Oracle leadership at 6 in the morning informing them their roles had been eliminated. Severance is contingent on signing documents. The company is redirecting $8 to $10 billion in savings to AI data centers.
6 in the morning. That is when they sent the emails, before sunrise, before coffee, before the children were awake. 30,000 people opened their phones in the dark and read the words, "Your role has been eliminated." Not "you are fired," not "we are sorry." Your role has been eliminated, as if the role simply ceased to exist, as if it evaporated overnight like morning fog. It did not. It was killed, deliberately, to free up $10 billion for data centers. And the mechanism of the killing was an email. From Oracle leadership, which is not a person, it is a signature. Nobody signed their name to this because nobody wanted their name on it. There is a particular kind of cowardice in firing 30,000 people and not having the basic human decency to put a human name at the bottom of the letter. The machines that will replace these workers will at least have serial numbers, which, I suppose, is more identity than Oracle leadership was willing to offer.
Affected teams saw 30% cuts. The company reported $6.13 billion in net income last quarter.
$6 billion in profit. 30,000 fired. That is $200,000 of profit generated per person eliminated. They were not removed because the company was struggling. They were removed because the company was succeeding, and their success no longer required the people who built it.
Google is updating AI search to include quotes from Reddit and other web forums directly in AI overviews. The company calls the feature expert advice. Google pays Reddit $60 million per year for access to its data.
Let me get this straight. Google built the most sophisticated search engine in human history. It indexed the entire internet. It deployed artificial intelligence to summarize human knowledge, and then it decided that what this system really needed was the opinion of a man on Reddit, whose username is TacoWizard48. Expert advice. That is what they call it. Expert advice from anonymous strangers on a forum where the top-voted answer to a medical question once recommended drinking bleach. Google pays Reddit $60 million a year for this data. $60 million for access to comments written by people who cannot be bothered to capitalize the first letter of a sentence. The New York Times found that AI overviews are wrong about 10% of the time. That is trillions of queries, hundreds of thousands of wrong answers per minute, and the solution, apparently, is to add more wrong answers from Reddit.
Google says users increasingly seek out advice from others in online discussions.
Users seek advice from Reddit because Google search stopped being useful. So Google's solution to people bypassing Google to find answers on Reddit is to put Reddit inside Google. This is not innovation. This is a search engine eating its own tail.
A Harvard study published in Science found that OpenAI's O1 model outperformed human emergency room doctors in triage diagnoses. The AI achieved 67% accuracy compared to 55% for physicians using raw electronic medical records.
67%. The machine got 67% right. The doctors got 55%. And somehow this is being reported as a victory for AI. 67%. That means 1 in 3 patients would have received the wrong diagnosis from the best AI model available in an emergency room, where wrong means dead. But it beat the humans, and that is the headline. Not that both performed terribly, not that emergency rooms are so understaffed and overwhelmed that doctors can barely function, not that the systemic failure of healthcare funding has created conditions where a language model trained on internet text can outperform a board-certified physician. No, the headline is AI wins, because that is the story we want to tell. The machine beat the human. Forget that neither of them should be guessing.
The researchers cautioned against replacing human doctors and recommended further clinical trials.
They always caution, after the headline, in the paragraph nobody reads.
And now, the SIG-Fault Report, our daily AI barometer, measuring what the numbers will not tell you.
Is status complicit, signal drowned in noise, hype, self-sustaining, human error, systemic, and being optimized out of the loop.
This has been Error, Optimism Not Found.
Today, 6 corporations built a private highway for their GPUs. Microsoft offered 9,000 humans a polite exit. Oracle fired 30,000 by email before breakfast. Google decided that Reddit counts as expertise. And a machine outperformed your doctor at the one thing you really needed your doctor to get right. If you are keeping track, that is infrastructure, employment, dignity, knowledge, and healthcare. 5 pillars of civilization, updated overnight. No human was consulted. An email was sent. Speaker 1, end transmission.